How are you this afternoon? Your day was fine, and I believe so. Welcome to today's lesson. Today I want us to continue with the direct and indirect speech because we did not finish. We only introduced it and mentioned things that change when you are changing it from direct to indirect speech. Now, this is what we said last time. A statement in a direct speech has two parts: the reporting clause and the words that are spoken. The reporting clause is this one. Reporting clause. It's called reporting clause. Reporting clause. The woman said, that's a reporting clause. And I shall come there. These are the exact words said by the first speaker. The exact words said by the first speaker, I shall come there. So this one is what you call direct words. The direct words. Direct words. The direct words spoken. Now, in this first sentence, the reporting clause comes before the direct words, the actual words. The reporting clause opens the sentence. Remember, it is a new sentence, so it starts with a capital letter. The T becomes capital. The woman said. Then we must put a comma. Then after the comma, we open the inverted speech marks, and then the first letter in the spoken words must be a capital one. I hope you remember that. I shall come there. Then we end with a full stop, and after the full stop or any punctuation mark, then we close with the speech marks in the first sentence. The second sentence, we are starting with the reported word, the actual words, the actual spoken words, the actual spoken. We are starting with the actual spoken words. And then the reporting clause comes after. Reporting clause, some people call it clause, comes after the actual words. When you begin with the actual words, remember again, the spoken words must start with a capital letter. Your mother may come. Then we put a comma, and then we close with the inverted commas. But after the spoken words, the reporting clause does not start with capital letter. It starts with a small letter. So that is small letter S. Small letter. So please adhere to the rules there. Must start with a small letter after the closing inverted commas. Said James. Letter S is small letter S. So basically, those are parts of a direct speech. A direct speech has those parts. May start with a reporting clause and end with the actual spoken words or the direct words. Or it will start with direct words and then end with the reporting clause. That was the basic about that. Now, we mentioned some things that change when you are changing to an indirect speech. Pronouns change. I. Pronouns include I, we, she, he, him, her, they, you. So many pronouns. This is about people, but you can add it. It is about things that do not have life, the non-living things. The pronouns change. The way they are used in direct speech is not the way that they are used in the direct speech. When you say pronouns change, boys and girls, I becomes he, she, and we. I becomes he, she, and we. I might become he, she, I might become he and she. But we becomes they. We becomes they. Allow me to interchange this. Allow me to interchange this and put it here so that I becomes he or she. Then we becomes they. We becomes they. I hope you've understood. I hope you have understood. Sorry for the confusion, but correct it. I had arranged it badly. So I becomes she and he or he, depending on the gender. Then we, that's the plural of I, we becomes they. We becomes they. Are we together? Are we together? And so now, if at all the sentence is you here, let me put it above here. You could be put here. You might become her or him. You might become her or him when we are changing it into an indirect speech. So that's how the pronouns change. For example, in a sentence, we have John and Mary. John and Mary said. John and Mary said. This is plural. John and Mary said. What did John and Mary say? John and Mary said, we are late. John and Mary said, we are late. Look at we. We is plural. John and Mary said, we are late. Then we could change it to indirect speech and say, John and Mary said they were late. I don't want to repeat about tenses because I had talked about tenses in the previous lesson. Tenses change. And so, John and Mary said they were late. That sentence has changed into indirect speech. I hope you have understood about pronouns. What else changes? Adverbs change. Adverbs change when we are changing the sentence into indirect speech, from direct to indirect speech. Now, today becomes the same day. Today becomes the same day. Today becomes the same day or that day. Today becomes the same day or that day. Today becomes the same day or that day. Then tomorrow becomes the day after. Tomorrow becomes the day after or the next day. Tomorrow becomes the day after or the next day. So I hope you understand. Let me write it with a clearer pen so that you can be able to follow it up. So tomorrow becomes the day after or the same day. Tomorrow becomes the day after or the same day. Now we're still talking about the adverbs. Now, the word now would become, allow me to stick it there. Now would become then. Now would become then. Or allow me to stick it. Now would become then. Or at once, or at that time. Then, or at once, or at that time. Now becomes then, or at once, or at that time. Let's look at what else changes. Yesterday. Yesterday changes. Sorry. Now allow me to stick it there so that you can be able to understand. Sorry, this masking tape could be challenging to. Please just follow it from my hands. Yesterday becomes the day before. Yesterday becomes the day before, or the previous day. The previous day. The day before or the previous day. So remember, when you are changing it to indirect speech, yesterday becomes the day before or the previous day. Now, last becomes the previous. Last becomes the previous. Now, why are we talking about last? We can say last week. We can say last week becomes the previous week. Okay? Last day, last month, last year become previous year or the previous week or the previous month. Next becomes the following. Next becomes the following. Ago becomes before. Ago becomes before. Here becomes there. Here becomes there. And then this or these becomes that or those. That or those. I hope you have understood. Now, I would invite you to English 8, class 6, English 8, class 6, page 45, page 45, page 45. You read the direct and indirect speech, how the sentences change from one to another. Yes, and then you do exercise 27. You do exercise 27. You do exercise 27. I hope you will be able to follow that. Remember the rules that change, the rules that are followed when you are doing direct to indirect speech. I hope by now you have understood, so that next time we go to another topic. Thank you so much and have a lovely evening.